Hello all sentient beings and welcome to the Transmissions Podcast, where we talk all Hasbro, Takara, and third-party Transformers! On this episode of Transmissions, we are joined by Alex Black from Toyhax as we talk about Dr. Wu's new Galvatron figure. Iron Factory is also bringing an Ultra Magnus to the table, and Takara Tomy is bringing their Golden Lagoon to the US. Today is Wednesday, November 11th, 2020, and this is episode 407 of Transmissions.
Welcome to Transmissions, the podcast that has never been happier to see a red mirage turn into a blue drift. I'm your host, Charles, a.k.a. Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, a.k.a. Yakko.
Hey, how's it going? And
Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
What did something funny or extraordinary happen this week? There's a lot of jubilant people outside, and social media is exploding. Let's talk Transformers, everybody.
It was Halloween. Oh wait, that was last week.
Oh, that was fun. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe something. I don't know. Anyway, we're back again to talk Transformers. I was out last week. I had a little personal issue. Ask me on social media if you're curious, but I don't really want to get into it here. But, we're here to have fun, enjoy, just things seem a little brighter, happier these days. I don't know why. But we're going to talk about Transformers, talk about silly shape-changing robots. And we're not alone because we've got a very special guest joining us this week. And Daryl, this guest is a fellow Canadian, so I'm going to let you introduce him. All right, yeah.
Our guest today is just a neighbor. He's just down the street. He's very well known in the community, so I don't have to tell you much about him, but his name is Alex Black, and he's essentially the guy in charge of Toyhax. So we've been working with Toyhax for a couple of years now. They've been offering a fantastic prize every month for one lucky Donatreon, and we are happy to have Alex on the show to talk with us about Toyhax and some of the stuff that's going on over there. How you doing, Alex?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks so much for having me on the show. It's great to finally be able to do this. I've been meaning to do it for a while. Oh, and credit where credit's due. As much as I do here, I run Toyhax with my dad. So my dad and I, oversee all the creation of the sticker sets and whatnot. But I do more of the day-to-day operations around here.
Yeah. I mean, that's really nice, and that's very Canadianly humble of you. But I've been working with Toyhax and TFCon, and I've seen your dad there for a number of years, and he's a real kind of figurehead now. He's basically the queen. He shows up and just kind of waves. You do all the work. I've seen it. I've seen it with my bare eyes. So yeah, you're the man behind the stickers now. So your dad's playing with 3D printers and stuff now, man. I mean, he's not even doing anything with the stickers.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting old, so that's what happens in life.
It's true. Yeah. Maybe he can 3D print himself a home.
There is companies that are working on that.
That'll be our next Toyhax line, is a bunch of Metroplex themed 3D printed houses. Buy them online.
Oh my god, those would sell.
Do giant sticker sets instead of having to paint a room.
Yeah. It's some people call it wallpaper. I call it a sticker set.
Yeah. So, Alex, tell us a little bit about Toyhax, because when I first got involved with you guys, you were called Repro Labels or Repro Labels. Some people have a hard time saying the word, and whatever. That might have been the the reason why you changed the name. I remember that you guys did these backgrounds, and I think that's why essentially the name kind of happened. But tell us about a little bit of history behind the company Toyhax and what you guys are basically known for.
Yeah, sure. All right. So the company was started, I want to say 21 years ago now by my dad. And this was just a real, basement operation, just him at a computer, with a cheap printer at the time. And, the entire goal was just to reproduce the, G1 labels, because right around that time, a lot of the labels on, the original G1 toys would have been peeling off. And so that's how we got our start. And we were called Repro labels at the time. Fast forward to say, 10 years after that. And I might be getting my dates wrong a little bit, but, we started doing upgrade sets. So both for the original G1 figures and for, any new figures coming out. And so that's kind of where the bulk of our business is right now, is just coming up with our own, takes on what a sticker set for that toy should look like. And since then, we've had, a few different offshoot lines. So we've had Cobra stickers, which, focuses just on G.I. Joe, and it's basically the same idea. We've, of course, covered lots of Power Ranger toys, and we ventured off into Mask and into, Star Wars and Lego and lots of other things. And you're right, we did start selling those backdrops. I want to say that was 7 years ago now. And what we realized, so we had to make a new website for the toy stages, which is what they're called. And we realized, hey, this website's a lot, more functional than our last one. And, we've got a lot of, different lines that, maybe people would want to be ordering at the same time. So if you want to buy a toy stage and a set from Repro labels and a set from Cobra stickers, you shouldn't have to place 3 separate orders on 3 separate websites if we're doing it all in the same spot. So that's why we decided to retrofit the Toy Stage website into a kind of umbrella website called Toyhax, and that's where we sell our Repro labels. That's where we sell our Cobra stickers. Since then, the most noteworthy thing is that we've started including parts on our website, so various upgrade parts. And what we're working on right now that we're really excited about is a brand new line of guns that will work for characters of any size. They're meant to be character specific, but they're meant to be able to go with any Legends, Deluxe, or Voyager, whatever class versions of them, and that's called the Armory.
Right, and I remember we were talking about that a little bit on the show because that was something very new just before the world went to hell. You touched on it there. You guys have been doing this for a long, long time. You've been making some sets. Both Charles and I bought a set that came with parts for the. I guess it was Spy Patrol 1 with Laserbeak and Ravage, which came with those back-mounted guns for Laserbeak and the rocket launcher bits for Ravage. Those were really cool. 3D printed parts from Toyhax. It seems like a perfect fit, So that's a very new angle that you guys have been doing, and I love it. I mean, has it been exploding the same way that I think it is?
So every time we tend to have one of these new big ideas, that's the intent. We're going to become millionaires. And what it ends up being is more a necessity of staying in business. And, there's always a little bit of growth, of course, with each of these new endeavors. But,
sure.
They've been popular. They've been, generally speaking, if and when we include a part, in a sticker set, it's only because it's really needed, because it's difficult for us to make them.
Right.
And so those sticker sets tend to just, with the parts, of course, tend to perform better than our other ones. But I'd be lying if I said it took off and exploded. That's what we're hoping for the new Armory section.
Mm-hmm. And I think that'll be really fun too. There's definitely a lot of parts out there. As a G1 collector myself, there's a lot of parts out there for the G1 stuff that it's impossible to find. And if you do find it, it costs you almost as much as the base figure. So reproduction parts are starting to become, almost as regular as buying a figure at a swap meet or something like that. The real part is preferred, but sometimes you don't want to spend $60 on the Sharkticon mace or the mace for Gnaw, because that's how much they generally go for. It's ridiculous. So, you buy a repro part. So, and I'm not sure that you guys may have one of those. I just know that they do exist. So a lot of people don't think that, I make stickers. That's my job. But this is it. This is your job. And you guys actually, you have a full company there. Now, you guys also, I would say you crowdsource some of your sticker sets. So you have artists actually creating these. It's not all you, right?
Right. So there is a degree of centralization that happens. So to some extent, we've always got the first and last say to things. But what we kind of need to do to survive and to stay relevant and to continue making sticker sets that people actually like and want to buy is we have to make sure to include everybody. We have to listen to the suggestions, and we have to make sure that our design team, the people that are along with us, pitching the ideas and actually fleshing them out, are members of the community. And so, for the most part, we've got nothing but Transformer collectors and Transformer fans that are making our sticker sets. And every now and then we try and bring one or two new people into the fold. We try and make sure that we have people that like every line, because it's no secret there are very few Transformer collectors that like every single iteration of Transformers, right? Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, the toys that are being made nowadays are referencing everything from RID to G1 to IDW, Beast Wars. And so you got to make sure to have enough people that like all of these different things, and you have to make sure to listen to your customers too. And that pretty much sums it up, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I know that you guys do a lot of your I don't know if you would say crowdsourcing, but you take a lot of suggestions through your Facebook page or your Facebook fan page, I think it is. And I know that there's a lot of the artists or designers that either monitor or have, they're on that page as well. Cause, sometimes I've gone in and I've grabbed my sticker set and I've gone in there to add or put on some stickers, and I'm like, I got 4 stickers left on this sheet and I have no idea where they go. And I'll look on the website and I'll see, oh my goodness, there's no way I'm deciphering where this is. And I'll go to that Facebook page and I'll just say, hey, I'm looking at, I don't know, for example, it was Generations Cup is the one that I had. I said, I've got Generations Cup and I've got these stickers left, 17, 18, and 13. And I don't know, there was another one. And I don't know where they go. And I don't know, it might have been within an hour. I had 3 people say, this one goes here, this one goes here, and this one's here. And, it's a really well done community. And I don't know if it's just fans that are all just, in there, or if you actually do have employees that are in there as well. But it runs really, really well.
Yeah. So to be clear, while we try and stay as involved as possible in the group, the vast majority of the interactions are just in between the members, not, staffers, nothing like that. But yeah, it's especially great for that if you don't know where a particular label goes. And, truth be told, some of our older sticker sets, and including some of our new ones, we make mistakes in the photo maps. And so we lean on the community a little bit to kind of answer each other's questions. And there are times where I'll be replying to a customer who's asking me where a particular label goes, which you can do, by the way. If you don't know where a label goes, you can send me a message. And oftentimes, what I'll end up doing is very much the same thing. I'll look back in the history of the Facebook group, and somebody will have had that question at some point, and I'll be able to find my answer there, about my own product.
That's fantastic. So, you guys do every line, I'm assuming every single line that comes out from Hasbro, and you guys are into the third-party stuff. Do you guys have some lines that you don't really touch, or is it everything's up for grabs?
In essence, everything is up for grabs. We have to try everything out. And there are certain things we know they're going to work. So if Hasbro announces a new line of classics scale Transformers that are also going to be based off of G1 figures, that's a no-brainer. We know that is, representative of a large, sector of our customer base. And so we're able to proceed full force right out of the gate with those lines. With some lines like RID or Cyberverse, we have to be a little bit more cautious because it's not everyone that's into these lines so far as at least purchasing the sticker sets, right?
Right.
And so we can only do so many sticker sets that don't sell, and we've done a lot of them. And so eventually we have to say, okay, we can't touch that line. There's a lot more going on that people seem to want a lot more.
Sure. Now, you touched on it earlier that you guys do other stuff other than Transformers. You said Mask, G.I. Joe, Lego, and other things. What's been kind of, I know Transformers has been your bread and butter. That's been where you've, kind of started and you continue to thrive. How much of the other lines are kind of progressing here? I know G.I. Joe has a lot of vehicles that have a lot of shitty stickers, and replacing those things probably at the top of mind for some of those collectors of the old G.I. Joe stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So now, and I might be wrong about this because the G.I. Joe section of our website is run in partnership with a couple of diehard G.I. Joe fans. And so for the most part, they come up with sticker sets, they come up with what they want to work on there. But I believe that we have wrapped up at least the vast majority of sticker sets that had to be completed as far as the reproductions goes. But let me know if I'm wrong, by all means, because then we got to get on that. But right now, what we've got our eye on is that new Megazord. It's the first one that Hasbro did, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, and my understanding is that it's nice as far as its posability goes and as far as its design goes, but it might be missing a little bit of chrome. It might be missing a little bit of that original flair, and so that's what we'll come in for sure. But just like all the other lines, what we try and do is kind of let it grow organically. So we always make sure to test out different potential lines. So recently we did Lego. Maybe a couple years ago, we tried out some Star Wars sets. And if you don't see us continuing that line, it's usually because to some extent there wasn't a lot of interest. And so that's what we just continue to do. We keep making sure to have, a small percentage of our sticker sets be about trying new lines. And if there's enough of an interest and if people really care, then we'll keep that up.
Right on. The last thing I really want to ask you about is, as far as the stickers and stuff, is I've noticed a change in the way the stickers are, they're in how they're made, or not how they're made, but what they're made of, really. I think the first one I really noticed was with Masterpiece Hot Rod, I think it was, because he came with tire treads to put on his tires. And I thought, this is bonkers. So, what kind of stuff, are you using? I don't want to, give away any company secrets here unless but what kind of stuff do you use to make this stuff to put on, like the rubbery feel, the texture?
Okay, so I'm gonna have to definitely be a little cryptic here because,
sure.
Unfortunately, we have to work really hard on coming up with every new trick that we pull off, right? And just coming up with how to do that in the first place. But I don't think I'm revealing any big secrets if I say that it's just raised ink. So it's just ink over ink over ink. And that's what creates the texturized feel. But just like how when we want to start something like toy stages or start something like including plastic parts, we have to always be engaging in these crazy new initiatives and crazy new developments that are always way too ambitious just in order to continue making our sets interesting. Because otherwise, you're going to get tired of just the same thing after 20, 21 years.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, I love the fact that you guys are changing stuff up. I noticed that the material that you use on your stickers has differed over the past decade. The stickers that I have on some of the other older figures, they do peel. You did make kind of like an adhesive fix for that, or I can buy a new set, and I can replace them with the new material, which lasts a lot longer. So I know that you guys are always changing, always looking for new things to work with, and like you said, you can't really stay making the same stuff because it just gets boring. But yeah, that's fantastic. The very last thing I wanted to mention on is there is a let's call it the biggest Transformer ever made is coming out, and a lot of people bought it. I believe they made 12,000 of these units. So it's a lot of units. I don't know if that's enough for you guys to make a set, but it's a very big figure. Would you guys make a set for a planet?
Yeah. Every time I look at that thing, I get a headache, but for sure, we will be doing a massive sticker set for it. I'm assuming, of course, don't take this at face value, because I haven't really gotten a chance to go into depth with what it needs, and hypothetically, it's possible that such a big toy is actually very well done and doesn't need a lot of extra detail. It's not usually how it works out, but
right.
Of course, it will most likely end up being similar to our Titan sets.
Mm-hmm. I part of me hopes that it doesn't need a set, that it's that well done for the amount of money that it costs, right? But the sets that you guys do are so great, that it brings out so many details and really does amplify the figures so much that I can only imagine it would be great for it. I don't want to even try and speculate the cost of a set for that thing, because it would be monstrous, but it would be a really cool looking set. All right, well, that's pretty much the end of the interview there, and unless you have something else that you wanted to mention that I kind of didn't get to.
Well, I'll start with this. I kept meaning to jump in and say thank you so much for saying such kind things about our sticker sets, but it always escaped me. So thank you very much. You've been very nice. I mean, that's at the heart of it all. What we're looking for is for our sticker sets to be enjoyed by people. And yeah. And I did want to mention, so if you have any toys, and this goes for anybody listening, that you have one of our old sticker sets applied to and it's peeling off, just send us a message. We'll send you a replacement copy, and that'll be that. No questions asked, free of shipping charge. We don't need a picture from you to prove it or anything like that. We definitely want to make sure to do right by our customers, and if your labels are peeling, that's a problem.
Damn. All right, you heard it here.
That's great.
That's quite the offer. Okay, if you got some stickers that are peeling on you from Toyhax, Alex will get you set up. All right, well, Alex, we'd like to end all of our interviews for people who haven't been on the show before with a bit of rapid fire questioning. This is just a quick, easy rundown, and I think it's pretty fun.
Okay, I'm ready.
So, first up, Autobot or Decepticon?
Decepticon.
Who is your favorite Autobot?
Tote. He's a little-known Micromaster.
All right.
You're supposed to ask them for their favorite Decepticon if they say Decepticon.
Oh, did he say Decepticon? Oh, I forgot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Daryl hasn't been listening to any of your messages.
No, I'm just singing much in my head. Okay, then who's your favorite Decepticon?
We'll go with Galvatron, somebody who's a little well-known.
I liked Tote. I mean, that got me. Transformers live action movie 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or Bumblebee?
I guess we'll have to go with Bumblebee.
All right. The comic question: More Than Meets the Eye, which turned into Lost Light, RID, which turned into Optimus Prime, Till All Are One, or the current Transformers ongoing?
So in the interest of doing a lot of research, I typically have to read up on all of these comics and read the synopses and check out the frames that are online, but I haven't read any of them. I know all about them. I know what happens. I know what characters are in them, but I haven't read any of them, because there's just too many different, iterations and fictions out there of Transformers. But, I guess I would have to go with, More Than Meets the Eyes, because I like the idea that, a Transformers story is set on a ship.
All right. Third-party toys, yes or no?
Yes.
Cats
Should
or
I
dogs?
elaborate? Oh,
No, that's
okay.
fine. I was going to say that's, I pretty much could have guessed that one, but, yeah.
Gotcha.
Cats or dogs?
Well, I guess I should do my 3 cats, right and say cats. But it's secretly dogs. I hope they don't hear this.
Oh, man. Closeted dog lover. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Chicken or steak?
Steak.
Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Burger King or McDonald's?
McDonald's.
History or science?
Science.
Xbox, PlayStation, or Switch?
Xbox.
PC or Mac?
PC.
iPhone or Android?
Android.
Is there a phone app that you cannot live without?
I guess Gmail? I mean, that's a lame answer, but that would have to be the one, I guess.
Just the base Gmail app?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
You get a decent amount of emails, you gotta reply to them.
Sure. All right. Marvel or DC?
DC.
Yes. Who is your favorite DC character?
It's cliche, but I'm gonna have to go with Batman or Elastic Man. Elastic Man is hilarious and brave and the bold, and even just that one version of the character is great.
Before we get any feedback, Plastic Man.
No, that's awful.
Nerd card revoked.
To be fair, DC does have the elongated man with similar powers.
That's still pretty bad, though. I'm a
But
fraud.
yeah, Plastic Man was the one in the Brave and the Bold.
Is there an Elastic Man?
I don't think
No,
so.
I mean there's Mr. Fantastic on the Marvel
Yeah.
side, and then Plastic Man and
I thought there was
elongated man.
Well, there's Elastigirl. It's
That's
that's
the Incredibles.
actually no, also Doom Patrol.
yeah, or the Lisa Simpson Treehouse of Horrors turns into Elastigirl.
No, that's Stretch Dude and Clobber Girl.
Oh, I'm getting them mixed up now. All right.
Sorry.
Oh, this is getting screwed up. Stallone or Schwarzenegger?
Schwarzenegger.
Pixar or DreamWorks?
I can honestly say I never know which one of those companies is making the movie I'm watching. So we'll flip a coin and say DreamWorks.
Is there a guilty pleasure movie that you always watch whenever you run across it on TV?
Well, to anybody who's not a Transformer collector, that answer would have to be Transformers the movie. But since you guys are already kind of on that page, nothing's really coming to mind. I really like the Spider-Man movies, 1, 2, and 3, with, what's his face?
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah,
Tobey Maguire, yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if other people like that, but I always feel silly for saying that when the Green Goblin comes on.
Well, the first two were good movies.
Yeah, that's fair.
The third one was kind of junk. This might be the wrong place to ask it though, Charles, but I always thought a guilty pleasure movie was one that you really just don't want to tell people you like.
That's the idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
something you'd be generally embarrassed to admit that you really like. If I say I watch Maury on the afternoon and watch all the DNA test results, and they say you are the father, and
Which you are so happy that you get to work from home now.
not that
You
I
don't get to
do
miss an
this.
episode.
This is just an example, but that would be something that I would describe as a guilty pleasure.
Right. Okay, so I did have it right. Okay, moving on. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Trek all the way.
All right. Simpsons, Family Guy, or Rick and Morty?
Oh no, that's a tough one. We'll go with Rick and Morty, but it's a close tie to the early Simpsons.
Walking Dead or Game of Thrones?
I haven't seen either, but I like zombies, so we'll go with Walking Dead.
Okay. NFL, MLB, NHL, UFC, or NBA, or Premier League if you like soccer?
It's my Canadian right to say, or duty rather, to say NHL, but UFC seems a little more interesting to me. It cuts right to the chase, and you don't need the hockey sticks. You just stick to the fighting.
That's true. Porsche, Ferrari, Lamborghini, or Volkswagen Beetle?
We'll go with the Lamborghini.
Mm-hmm. And last one, blonde, brunette, or redhead?
Well, my wife is a brunette, so coincidentally, brunette.
So there you go. Well done. And yes, I actually was going to congratulate you. You got married earlier this year.
Yeah, it's about 6 months old now.
That's right. just before everything went to hell.
Yeah, and on February 29th, 2 weeks later, all the lockdown started. So we got the date that only comes once every 4 years, and we got the last of its kind wedding.
Amazing.
Wow. Well, that's good. You only have to do your anniversary once every 4 years, right?
That's the whole idea.
Yeah, you got to get 4 times the presents though at the time.
Well, it's also a memorable date, so you won't forget.
That's the other idea.
Right on. Well, that's the gauntlet. Thank you very much for doing that, and right on. That was fun.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah, you could really profile me as a person based on all of my answers. You can figure out who I vote for and what I eat and what time I wake up.
We should really go through all of our rapid fire things and kind of go through the data,
and chart it,
kind of see what's more popular.
We've got answers from everybody. Like we got voice actors on here, comic creators. We got everybody has done it.
Yeah, time to start selling your data out to the big companies.
Oh yeah, everyone wants to know who likes chicken or steak.
Exactly.
Well, we can get money maybe for the iOS Androids.
Yeah.
Although most people's favorite app, regardless of platform, is Twitter.
All right. Well, Charles, I'm going to hand the show back over to you.
All right. Well, thanks, Alex, for coming on and hanging out with us. And I mean, Daryl mentioned it briefly, but I do want to thank you again for supporting us in the monthly contest we do, and I hope that the people who are winning the $10 prize are actually using that and then maybe spending a little bit more at toyhax.com. So hopefully it's paying off.
Yeah, well, I mean, even if not, I'm just happy to be able to support Transformers podcast. I think there should be way more Transformers podcasts. There aren't enough. And you guys should I don't know how big you guys are, but you should be bigger. So whatever I can do to help.
All right. Well, thank you. Yeah. And for those who aren't aware, you can win a $10 gift code from Toyhax every month. We do a random drawing at the end of the month. And if you donate to the show and become one of our donatrons, either through Patreon or PayPal, you are automatically entered in that contest every month. If you don't donate to the show, you can still enter just by sending us an email, contest@transmissionspodcast.com, and send us a picture of the Transformer toy you would like to get stickered up. So, we like to see, what toys people are playing with. So, yeah, and shout out to all of our donatrons. Thank you for continuing to support the show. And if you'd like to become one, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. And that's how you can sign up. You can also help us out by buying some merchandise from our TeePublic store. That's at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. And we've got another sale. TeePublic's doing lots of sales for November, I think bleeding up to Black Friday. So if you want to get something from TeePublic this week, November 11th through 13th, everything is 35% off on the store. So if you buy anything through our link, anything from TeePublic through our link, that helps us out. So it's a good time, get those Christmas gifts. And
treat yourself.
Yes, that too. And we've also got a new episode of our Transformers live play. Did I say that right? I think I did. Podcast, RPG podcast, Empire of Rust. Episode 36 and SOS to the World came out this Monday, November 9th. So you can listen as the team needs to rescue Wild Strike. They're one of their teammates who has been captured, and we'll see what happens. That's always a fun show done by our own editor and producer, Mike Ordway, and his friends. It's a cool, adventure, Transformers adventure set in the IDW Comics universe. All right, so let's get into talking about some toys.
All right, and first up this week, we got a couple new things to talk about from Dr. Wu. Dr. Wu has shown off, or is showing off, 2 new Legend scale figures. This is, I think we talked about them before, but this is the new thing for Dr. Wu. They've usually only done add-on kits before, but they are tipping their toe into the Legend scale market here with their DW-E01 Destroy Emperor. I don't know. It's Destroy Emperor. It's Emperpo.
It's a bad name.
Yeah. I don't know why they don't pick easier names. Like Galvatron.
Why didn't they just make it Emperor? I don't understand. Emperor is not trademarked. Just make it Emperor. That's a real word.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it's Galvatron. He's a Legend scale figure, and they've got him standing on the shoulder of Titan class Scorponok. And I mean, he's tiny, like to the point where I think he's smaller than most Legends class things. Like, he's really tiny. So this thing looks pretty cool. It transforms into his space cannon. He looks great for a Legend scale figure, you know. And the other thing that they've got is their DW-E02 Monitor Officer. This is terrible naming. This is not Soundwave, Soundblaster, G1 Soundblaster. He looks great. He looks exactly like you'd think he should look. And I do not believe the cassette door on him opens. It doesn't show anything about that. I believe he's too small. He's about the same size as this Galvatron, and this thing is just tiny. So, yeah, I mean, if you've got Titan class Scorponok and if you have not seen these pictures, imagine Scorponok's head, and this figure is not as tall as his head. So, yeah, it's very, very small. So, Charles, I know you like having little guys running around. It's part of what makes you such a nice and great father. Would you adopt these little minions?
Yeah, since all my kids are now big and I don't have any little guys anymore, so I gotta refresh my stock.
I wouldn't have put it like that. That's terrible. Yeah.
These are cool. Yeah, I mean the sound blaster looks awesome. I mean I'm confused why they didn't just make it a Soundwave, but I'm sure they'll eventually put out a Soundwave too.
Maybe it has something to do with a particular Netflix show that has Sound Blaster in it.
No, maybe. But yeah, this is the Sound Blaster looks awesome. The Galvatron space cannon mode is a little wonky, but the robot mode looks cool. But these guys are really nice. And yeah, it's hard to tell since I don't have Scorponok. It's hard to tell exactly how big they are, but I would be curious to see.
6 centimeters for the Galvatron and 5.8 for the Sound Blaster.
Yeah.
Okay. So
less than 2.5 inches tall.
Yeah. These look nicely detailed and painted up. They look good. Do we have a price on these?
I can check real quick, but I doubt there's something up there. All right. Yes. I have one for the Monitor Officer. I mean, it says that there's supposed to be a 2-pack, but it's only got the Monitor Officer up here right now. So Monitor Officer is $30. Yeah. Weird.
I guess that's for a third-party Legends scale. I think that's probably the right range, I guess, for this articulation and detail. These would be something I would look at if I were at TFCon.
Right on, Jeremy. I know you like Legend scale things, and I can't think of anything funny to say. So, what do you think?
I like these. I'm surprised that they aren't able to figure out a way to make the tape deck open when, the Takara World's Smallest Transformers, which I believe are smaller than this, had a sound wave that opened and had a transforming Ravage inside. So I'm very disappointed with Dr. Wu. I mean, come on, you're a doctor, for God's sake. But other than that, I mean, I think they look great. I love the extremely tiny Transformers that actually do go from one form to another. So these would be something that I will be looking for. If the price is not, crazy for the size, I would look to pick these up because they're like the perfect little despots that you just hope don't, get lost under papers or something.
Yeah.
Galvatron's head seems a little weird to me, like just the shape of the helmet. I think it's just, you see G1 Galvatron in most of that, and then the helmet looks a little bit off. Like I remember in the cartoon it seems smoother than that, but it's fine. It still looks menacing. You can tell who it is, and I think these both look really fun.
Mm-hmm. Now, Alex, it's something I never really got to talk to you about or mention in the interview there, but Legend scale has exploded, and these have got to be challenging to make stickers for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we haven't been touching as many Legends figures recently because the last time that we kind of dipped our toes into that market, there didn't seem to be a big interest for it. That being said, we've actually got a few lying around the shop. I don't know which ones we'll get to next, but we will be doing new sets for Legends figures. But we're never going to stop no matter how bad the sales go. My dad and I are both almost exclusively Micromaster and WST collectors. I don't bother with classics. I don't even really bother with Legends, but Legends speak to me in a they're kindred spirits to what I like to collect. And as far as I'm concerned, these are WST scaled. I mean, I think that there should be a little bit more range in size anyways, and so if you're putting that in a WST collection or in your Micromaster collection, it's perfect.
Yeah, do notice that you have some like more generic symbols for Micro Transformers.
Yeah, we do have available separately from the regular symbol sets, symbols that are geared towards the really small figures. And that wouldn't have happened if we weren't just Micromaster collectors. That's the kind of thing we have to make for ourselves. And then we realize,
you're scratching your own itch.
And then we realize, okay, well, I guess, the other 6 Micromaster and WST collectors might want this.
Right on. All right. Well, Jeremy, that's all I brought. What do you got for us?
Well, Hasbro dropped a surprise on us last week where they're releasing the Takara Tomy Golden Lagoon set from a few years ago on Hasbro Pulse. This is 4 figures, or I guess 4 different sets in this. You have GL01 Convoy, which is MP10, just the cab, not the trailer. And all of these are all gold. GL02 Starscream, which is the Unite Warriors, which Combiner Wars Starscream mold. This one was originally with the Grand Galvatron 5-pack, the Combiner, but this is just the Starscream. And then GL03 has Perceptor, Beachcomber, and Sea Spray they were all the Titans Return versions. And then GL04 is the Titans Return Soundwave. So I was not expecting to see this show up. And after all these years, to have them just like, what can we release? How about we re-release this all gold set? I think it's really neat. I think at this point, I need to check. Most of them, I think, were sold out when I checked the other day. But they're scheduled for release on January 1st. So sometimes Hasbro Pulse will like sell out and then they'll add more stock to the pre-orders. So I definitely check back, but it's crazy to get this like all gold set to tie in with one specific episode of G1. Alex, let's start with you. What do you think of this? Is it something that scratches your itch?
No, it's the kind of thing that I will never indulge in until I'm rich. But when I'm rich, I will have all of the gold figures. And it will only be to play out that one episode, but I won't regret it. Until then, I'm going to skip that episode in my own stories.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, it's not super accessible. Like, it's the kind of thing where if you're an average collector, I mean, you can't really proceed with the collect them all mentality with all of those gold figures, right? Because they're always at such a high price point, and they don't really fit in with the rest of your collection. But they do make good, centerpieces, good display pieces, especially to non-Transformer collectors.
Yeah, if you wanted to make a trophy, get that Optimus Prime and super glue it to a base, and there you got a nice trophy.
Yeah, there you go.
Charles, what do you think of these? I know we talked about them back when Takara was putting this out, but is this something you'd be interested in?
Probably not. I mean, I'm thinking if I got to the ultra rich level, I'd be getting figures and then dipping them in my own pool of molten gold. So, but I mean, it is it's cool that they're referencing this specific episode. I really liked that episode of the cartoon. I mean, it also had a really, I mean, I don't know if it was a positive message, but it was a message about conservation and environmentalism 35 years ago when people were still not. I mean, we're still kind of not realizing that message, but it was interesting to see how it was very focused on Beachcomber and him trying to preserve this this pristine spot on Earth. But yeah, I mean, it was a fun episode, and I mean these figures do look cool. I mean, the gold-plated Transformers do look cool. I mean, they look very nice. They look nicer than they have any reason to be. I mean, they shouldn't look this good.
Well, does the Optimus Prime look $179.99 nice?
It's not real gold on the Prime, is it?
No.
The only complaint I would have is that Starscream. I mean, I know the Starscream is just a retool of an aerial bot from Combiner Wars, but it just doesn't look anything like Starscream. And it's a little annoying to just pick a different Starscream. Yeah.
I mean, in this case, it was what they had.
Yeah.
But Takara should have chosen something different.
Yeah. But the other figures all look, I mean, the 3-pack of the Autobots, Perceptor, Beachcomber, and Sea Spray, those look really nice. Convoy looks really nice. The Soundwave is that I'm not a fan of that Titan's Return Soundwave mold, but it's still, I mean, the robot mode still looks nice.
They should have just re-released that Linkin Park.
Yeah.
That gold Linkin Park sound. Daryl, I know you don't have too many gold figures in your collection. Are you going to try to get in on this? I think Optimus is the only one available right now. The others are all sold out.
I don't have any, but I do like gold. It's I can't fathom a reason why I would buy all these. But man, I can imagine having one shelf of my Detolf just glistening with these figures, and I mean, as fun as that would be, and as fun as somebody walking into the room and just been like, holy shit, look at that look at that shelf, be like, yeah man, yeah, that shelf is worth the entire house. Like it's not. I couldn't do it. They're fun figures. Every now and then you'll come across somebody will have one figure that's gold, and it's.
Don't you have that European G2 gold figure?
Yeah,
it has GPS.
Well, it's not European. It's Electro from the G2 line, and it's all made of gold plastic. So yeah, I mean, it's not gold plated or anything like these ones are, but yeah, they that's rare, I guess. Sure. But yeah, these ones they look cool and they're sparkly. So yeah, I don't know, they're neat.
All right. Well, I have one more thing here that Hasbro dropped last week, and they actually used the group Ozformers, which I believe they have a podcast, but they're also a Facebook group who handled the actual reveal of this. They have Studio Series. The newest one is Starscream from the Bumblebee movie. This is not Blitzwing. This is Starscream from the 5-minute Cybertron scene at the beginning of the movie. So he turns into a Tetrajet, and it looks okay. I mean, I don't know, in that Bayformer's facial expression way, the Tetrajet I think needs a little bit of work, but I mean it's okay. If you're collecting the movie figures, you might like it. So, Daryl, let's stay with you. You've collected, I guess, just the Devastator Studio Series, but what do you think of this?
I have a couple other Studio Series figures, including the Blitzwing number 65. It's an interesting, way that they've gone about this. By looking at the figures side by side, you can obviously see the similarities, but you can also see the vast amount of changes that they've made to the figure as well. The Tetrajet mode is it's just a ham-fisted fan mode that somebody kind of came up with, and then they've changed some parts so that it looks a little bit better. But this is, it's cool. Everyone knows that this figure was supposed to be, or this character was supposed to be Starscream, and then they had to kind of rewrite it because they realized Starscream wasn't there yet because of the way that the movie kind of got written and kind of back way.
Because at the time it was a prequel.
Yes.
And who knows what it is now.
Exactly. So, yeah, it was supposed to be Starscream. It got changed, whatever. It doesn't matter. But, yeah, I like the idea of making an actual Starscream out of this mold. So, I wouldn't have minded if they called, Studio Series number 65, if they just put Starscream along the bottom. I wouldn't have minded that either. But yeah, this is cool, too. I'd like to get the regular mold of this, painted up in the Starscream colors, because they are a little bit more G1 accurate. But yeah, I like the idea that they've done this, and they've made a little bit of changes to the mold to make it look a little bit different. I'm not going to go out of my way to get one of these, but if it finds its way into my shopping cart, I'll buy it.
Cool. Alex, what do you think of this? Or do you have any of the Studio Series line?
In the shop, yes, but I don't collect them personally. So I'll admit I was initially pretty bummed out that this toy was revealed, because we were ready to do a Starscream conversion for Blitzwing, and now there's less of a need for that. But I'm curious, what do you guys think? Do you think there's still would you be interested in a Starscream conversion set for Blitzwing, maybe in addition to the Tetrajet? Get a Cyber.
You have the more Earth mode looking vehicle, and that's classic Starscream is really the Earth mode.
Right.
That's right. Yeah. I would. It's one of those figures that definitely has potential to be a little bit better. The thing that gets me is that movie-verse head that's on the base figure. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you guys are capable of going to the extent of making a head. It's definitely something that's a little bit more ambitious than you've done before, but that head's got to go. If you really want to turn this thing into a Starscream, that head's got to be changed.
Yeah. That to that extent, we probably won't go that far, but I think it's an interesting figure, because up until very recently, I wasn't a big fan of the whole movie aesthetic. But I've been handling the Studio Series Constructicons a bit more, and I've got a newfound appreciation for it that I didn't quite tune into before. It's got its own style for sure, and it's very distinct than what I was used to. But so I don't mind the head as much. I think that it's a really interesting hybrid of the movie style and of the G1 style.
Cool. Yeah. Charles, what are your thoughts on this guy?
So I was prepared to kind of bash this Tetrajet mode just because I really was like, I said, are you kidding me with that kibble underneath it? But looking at all these pictures, it actually kind of works. Like, it's still, the kibble's really massive on the underneath the jet mode, but I like the idea that it's kind of just carrying this heavy armor gun underneath it, and it's kind of a heavy artillery gun underneath the Tetrajet. But I still think it's a lot of kibble, man. It's a lot. Yeah. You're carrying a lot of payload underneath that jet. They couldn't. I understand that this comes from they retooled this from the Blitzwing figure, so there's not a lot of degrees of freedom to move stuff around, but they needed to do something better with that kibble underneath the jet. Other than that, I think the figure looks pretty good. The robot mode looks pretty good. I agree. The head sculpt is not great, so I would like the head sculpt to be improved. But I'd say it's for retooling the Blitzwing figure. I think this is a worthy attempt, I'd say.
Cool. Well, that is all I got this week. Charles, what do you have?
All right, so I am going to wrap things up with another Legend scaled figure. This one is coming from our old friends at Iron Factory, who we haven't had a lot of new stuff from them in a while, but this is a figure from the More Than Meets the Eye comics. This is an Iron Factory Ultra Magnus, but not just any Ultra Magnus. So this is EX-44 City Commander Final Battle Armor. And this is the Ultra Magnus that was seen in the last few issues of More Than Meets the Eye before it became Lost Light. And this is when Magnus's original Magnus armor got damaged, and they rebuilt it. Brainstorm rebuilt his armor into Super Magnus armor, and he was renamed Ultra Maximus. So he's just bristling with guns and armor, and the Iron Factory guys did do a transformation and turned it into an Ultra Magnus car mode, and they also have a Minimus Ambus inner robot, which is cool, and it's a really cool figure. I have one of the older Ultra Magnus, the regular City Commander Iron Factory figure. That's just a regular Ultra Magnus, and that's also cool. But this one looks it's really fun. I mean, it's specifically referencing that one set of issues of comics, so it's pretty niche. But and they do have a picture where they put it alongside with all the a bunch of their other Iron Factory figures from 2019 and 2020, and you can see how big he is, compared to the other Legend scaled Iron Factory figures. And he's got, super posable and everything. I think it's a really cool figure. Daryl, any interest in this guy?
I mean, I think this figure is awesome. I not super pumped about the price on it. I mean, it's a lot of plastic, but it's $90 for a Legend scale figure.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's yeah, but I really do like it. It looks fantastic, and I think I have the same City Commander figure that you have, but I do. I like it. It looks awesome. Really super badass, and yeah. If I had an extra $90 that I could just throw at a figure, I might pick it up. Legend scale stuff is an easy convention buy, and perhaps I'll look at one next year if we can get back to them.
And at a convention, you could probably haggle them down to $70 or something.
Oh, easy
with your skills.
Easy.
Alex, you mentioned how you're not you don't really read the comics, but you have to do research on them. So, do you remember this guy from More Than Meets the Eye? Does this spark your interest at all?
Oh yeah, for sure. And by research, that's probably too eloquent a term. I get distracted by going down deep rabbit holes on TF Wiki, reading, into what IDW did with Ultra Magnus, going, oh, so that's cool. It's an armor, suit that gets passed on from one character to another. That's a really interesting take. Without reading any of the comics, I still get really into the stories. I think it's great that Ultra Magnus is so beefed up. I think it suits his personality. And I kind of like when a figure has some contrast in between their appearance and their personality. And I think that Ultra Magnus presents himself as a really humble character, at least in G1. And I like the idea that he's got this, weapon of a body. So that's pretty cool.
Nice. And Jeremy, what do you think of this figure?
I think it looks amazing. I think if you wanted to have kind of a final Ultra Magnus, for this line, this is just, it looks great. And also, if you look at that comparison shot, this says the Minimus Ambus is about 6 centimeters as well. So if those Doctor Wu figures are about the same height, you can compare it to these other Legend Scale figures. It's about half the size of a typical Legend Scale figure. So that's really amazing. Does the Minimus Ambus figure actually go into the armor? I couldn't tell from this.
Yeah, that I don't know. The pictures don't really make it clear. I mean, especially in the vehicle mode, it doesn't look like the Minimus Ambus figure could go inside the Magnus vehicle.
Yeah, I do like that he transforms as well. That's nice.
Yeah.
But this is great. I just noticed on his fist he has little brass knuckles. That's cool.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, this would be something that would be on my convention list if there were such a thing anymore.
And you'd get Daryl to haggle the price for you, so you could get a deal.
I'd be like, Daryl, you're going to get 2, and that'll help your haggling, and I'll take 1.
I'll do it.
Oh, we'll just have to dream about physical conventions again. All right, well, that is all our toy topics, so we will move on to trips to the store. This is where we show off all the cool Transformers stuff we got this week. We do this as a video so you can see everything we got in beautiful high definition on our YouTube channel. We'll also put the audio right here in the podcast so you can keep listening as we describe all our purchases in loving detail. So without further ado, trips to the store.
The Transmissions Podcast will return after these messages.
All right, let's talk about the stuff we got this week. Jeremy, we're going to start with you.
All right. First, I got some comics. We're going to be talking about issue 2 of the My Little Pony book, but issue 4 just recently came out, and I got that. I have the Tony Fleeks cover, so it's a pretty dynamic cover. It looks cool. I've still only read up to issue 2, which is what we're reviewing this week. I have Galaxies number 11. I have, this is the really cool Soundblaster cover from Andrew Griffith. Really like that. And then I have Transformers 84, Secrets and Lies number 4. This is the Guido Guidi cover. Really cool. But also, I got the Nick Roach Wreckers cover, which is like an homage to his Last Stand of the Wreckers book. So,
what's the price tag on that thing?
I paid $6.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, all of the Transformer RI covers at my shop are $6. Some of the DC and Marvel ones are quite a bit more. And then I gotta hide my address here, but I got the Prowl and Ironhide Earthrise set with the sticker on the box.
Oh, Amazon.
Yeah. So I showed off Blue Streak last week, and so Prowl is essentially the same figure. It's essentially the same as Blue Streak, so not much difference there. Although I will notice that the painting on the lights, I never noticed that Blue Streak's paint goes a little bit more for the tail lights, and they can kind of see it there. There's actually a marking, so it's not like they overpainted. It's actually designed. There's a line there for the Blue Streak one that they don't go to on the Prowl. So I thought that was a neat little thing. As like I was looking at them, I was like, oh, the tail lights are a little different. Ironhide though, this guy is a little frustrating. I was trying to transform him before the show, and this piece on the other leg just popped off, and I have yet to find it. So, I mean, it's one of those pieces that it very easily comes off. But that was a little frustrating. But in terms of the robot mode, he looks great. I do wish there was some light piping, but I think, this looks like Ironhide, and the alt mode is definitely like a 1980s van. So, yeah, I got the Ratchet Siege mold. I haven't compared them yet. I imagine they're fairly similar. So that is all I got this week.
All right. Alex, we're going to go to you.
Okay. So I haven't purchased any toys in a little while. I tend to just, snag whatever comes through the shop if it suits my interest. But I decided I'd show off some toys that I've had for a while, and then I'd show off a toy that has a sticker set that I just half finished in time for this podcast, so I can show you the vehicle mode. But we'll start off with this. And this isn't actually a Transformer. So what this is a Mega Bloks oh no, I'm blanking on the name. Plasmatech? Yeah. Plasmatech Sky Sweeper. And here, let me just get the chat window open so I can see. Yeah, and so for years, this was my stand-in for Shockwave. And of course, if you're into Galactic Man, it's a perfect stand-in for that. And as a kid, this was the best thing I could get because they hadn't released a Legends Shockwave yet. They hadn't released a WST Shockwave yet. And so this just became my go-to figure. And, it's cool. It's got, enough posability for something its size. It's about the size of a Legends toy. And to this day, I refuse to buy another Shockwave because it's good enough. I'm happy with it.
The head really looks like what they use for animated Shockwave.
Yeah, it is pretty similar. Oh, fun fact about this. I forget which one of you it was, but somebody mentioned Goober.
Be Daryl.
Yeah. Okay, so Paul Gubernichuk is a regular attendee at the TF Cons. He organizes the midnight Slurpee runs, and he's also an artist. And I didn't know this until just a couple years ago, but he's the one who did all the box art for this line. And so it was really cool. And I remember thinking at the time, these are so much like Transformers. They seem to be really inspired, and all the box art just looks so familiar. Like, it's in this style that really speaks to me. And I was just talking to him about it at one of the conventions, and he mentioned that he had done the art for it. So that was pretty crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah. What I've got next here is also not a Transformer, I'm sorry. But it's very close.
Do you know what show you're on, Alex?
Yeah. These are cool because they're Transformer-like to me. But this is as close as it gets to being a Transformer prior to third party, without actually being a Transformer, and without even really being a knockoff. It was like the first... it wasn't meant to be, taken seriously. It was just a company, from my understanding, trying to imitate Micromasters. And they did kind of their own versions of quite a few characters. So they did, their own Mudslinger, they did their own Whisper, they did their own Tailspin. And I want to say there were 9 of them total. And if you're into Micromasters and WST, these are really cool because they're actually smaller than Micromasters. So if you like to imagine that Micromasters aren't actually small, well, you can still have, small guys for the Micromasters. And so anyways, he transforms, very much like Whisper, but he's got, a blue shade to him. And his name is escaping me. I've had him for so long now. To me, he's just, Little Whisper. But, yeah.
Do you know the name of the line that he belongs to?
He's oh right, did I not mention that? He's part of the Imperial line of Micromasters. So Imperial was the company, and they released a set of Micromasters, I want to say early 90s or late 80s, and he was part of the original 9. So
cool.
Yeah. And then last but not least, so we like I said, I just wrapped up the sticker set on the vehicle mode for Tiger Track. So we kind of ran with the Tiger idea, and
nice.
Because it's nice to have a recolored Sideswipe, but it can do with a little bit more flair than that, and you can lean into the name, I think, a little bit more. And what's great about these characters is nobody's really attached to them on like a personal level, and so you can just say, you know what, forget any assumptions you have about this character. This is what he looks like, and so he's got those, stripe. Like, fang-like stripes along the car mode. And I definitely won't be able to get a great shot of this, but in place of the Lamborghini logo, there's a tiger.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So.
That's really great.
There you go. That's all I've got.
Nice. All right, Daryl. Moving on to you.
All right. Well, I, too, have the 4th issue of the Transformers and My Little Pony crossover. Again, the same cover as Jeremy, the Tony Fleeks cover. So we'll get to this one in about a year. But the one thing that did come in this week that I was pretty stoked to get is Batman. So
nice.
I got my R46 Vexo Prominion, and he's awesome. Yeah, he's pretty awesome. This is the first time I've ever had a figure with soft goods, though, so I'm having a hell of a time kind of working with that. But man, he's a cool looking figure. I'm really happy with the way that this thing turned out, and it sure would be great to get like a Batman kind of sticker set for this. I don't know if we could. I don't know if we know anybody over at Toyhax that can do anything about that, but. Yeah, this thing could at least use a little bat emblem, like right in the middle there. So
I see. I get the sense that you might be asking for a sticker set there. Dropping subtle hints.
I am the king of subtlety.
I will say, looking at it, like when you were holding it up, it looks so much more like Batman than the original pictures we got.
Yeah, the yellow utility belt really does wonders.
Yeah,
and the wings and stuff. They're you got a little bit of range of motion with them. You can actually slide them all the way to the side. I just gotta flick down some landing gear here, and then I can actually almost kind of turn them into like weapons for his kind of robot mode. So now he's got these kind of like weapons that he can kind of like hold up. So yeah, they're neat. Yeah, I like them quite a bit. They actually do come out as well, and he can hold them as a weapon, like an actual sword.
Nice.
So yeah,
cool.
They're pretty fun. He's a very articulated fella, and stands really well. So I'm pretty happy with him. But that's all I got.
All right. I will wrap things up. I also have some comics. So Transformers 84 issue 4, reviewed this a few weeks ago. The Guido Guidi cover. Transformers Galaxies number 11, the Andrew Griffith cover. And My Little Pony Transformers issue number 4, also the Tony Fleeks cover. So basically all the comics you guys got. I also picked up Batman, but didn't get a chance to open them yet. And we've got one for the show, too. So this will be a prize for a lucky listener, courtesy of Transmissions Podcast. So
I'm a lucky listener.
I'm going to be submitting my expense reimbursement form soon to get this for the podcast. But yeah,
cool.
I don't know if we have to figure out the contest, but eventually this will go to a lucky listener.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, prizes in hand.
And I also got Wheelblade. So yeah, I had a good TFCon online this year.
Mm-hmm.
Wheelblade also didn't get a chance to open her up, but did also get another prize for Transmissions. So we've got some prizes in the vault here. So
the prize closet.
Yeah, the prize closet.
You should just put up a sign on the door behind you, prize closet.
Well, yeah, you can see that. So there's no camera tricks. There are actually two here. One of these is mine, and one of these is for a Transmissions prize. So, and see, yeah,
awesome.
So, two of them.
Well, open them up. That's your next trips to the store video is them opened.
Yeah, I got to do that. All right, that's all we got for trips to the store.
We now return to the Transmissions Podcast.
All right, we're back from our trips to the store, and we will finish up the show with feedback. All right, just one comment we got. This actually is a couple episodes old. I think we just missed it. I forgot to put this in the feedback because he sent this comment in a little while ago. This comes from Fenris, one of our listeners, and they give us some information about the number 14 on the Studio Series 86 Jazz. So we had some discussions about that in episode 404, where we talked about all the Studio Series 86 figure reveals. Yeah, so there's a question about why the Jazz figure got its number changed from 4 to 14. And so Fenris writes in and says, the number 14 on Jazz is a reference to his catalog number from the Diaclone release. No malarkey involved, and was likely changed to avoid licensing costs, like with Earthrise, Wheeljack, and Smokescreen. He has nothing to do with racism, and anyone looking for that to be the reason is stretching at best. So that's good news. Thanks, Fenris, for providing that information. Yeah, and I was not aware that the Jazz Diaclone catalog number was 14, so that's cool. Cool bit of information.
Yeah, I will say that because of the previous Jazz and the issues with that, it's not surprising that like allegations did come up with this one.
Yeah.
Since we have Alex here, we can ask him directly if they're going to be doing a set for this Jazz to cover up that 14 and replace it with a 4.
Do you know how crazy it would be if we didn't do this figure? If we just skipped it? People would be scratching their heads for years. Like there's an obvious, potential there. But yeah, of course, we'll be doing a sticker set, and there'll be a couple of big 4s there, and that problem will be solved.
There you go. Easy peasy.
All right, yeah, and that's all the feedback we got for this week. So we will wrap up the episode here. Of course, we end every episode with our Masterpiece Donatreon shoutouts, and this goes out to our Masterpiece Donatreon, John 4X Levengood. Thanks, as always, for continuing to support us. And that's it for this episode of Transmissions. Alex from Toyhax.com, thanks so much for coming on and hanging out with us. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, of course. It was a lot of fun. And it's easy to feel isolated as a Transformer collector, so it's nice to be able to talk to other people like me.
Yeah. I mean, we've and you should hang out on our Discord. There's lots of people hanging out and talking Transformers and other topics too. So
We'll do.
Have fun. And everyone, go check out Toyhax.com. So that's where you can get all your Transformers labels needs met, and branching out to other toys too, as we mentioned. So if you have some toys you'd like to spruce them up, make them look even better than how they came in the package, go to Toyhax.com. All right, everyone, thanks for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Bye now.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.